And Marc Thiessen, he's a Washington Post columnist, former White House speechwriter, and, of course, a Fox News contributor. So the Democrats took it on the chin in a big way on Tuesday night, and their response to that is, all we have to do is get this tax and spend reconciliation bill passed, and all will be forgiven.
More socialism. That's what voters want. I mean, look, I think Congresswoman Abigail Spanberg from Virginia said it best. She said, nobody elected Joe Biden to be FDR. They elected him to be normal and stop the chaos. There is no mandate for social. A 50-50 Senate and a narrow, razor-thin majority in the House is not a mandate for socialism. But I think that what is AOC and the progressive wing up to? They know they don't have a mandate for socialism. They know that what they've been given is this brief window to enact as much of their radical agenda as possible. And what they saw on Tuesday is that window is closing fast. And so they need to get as much through as they can because they understand something, which is that government is a one-way ratchet. Once you establish a new entitlement, it is never going to get taken away. Look at Obamacare. So, like, you know, they lost control of the House because of Obamacare in 2010, and lots of political careers ended. And here we are a decade later. Republicans spent a decade trying to repeal it. They never did. They want to do that on multiple fronts before they lose power, and they're perfectly willing to lose power in order to do it.
There was a scathing take on all of this in an editorial in, of all places, the New York Times, which said in part, quote, Tuesday's results are a sign that significant parts of the electorate are feeling leery of a sharp leftward push in the party, including on priorities like Build Back Better, which have some strong provisions and some discretionary ones driving up the price tag. The concerns of more centrist Americans about a rush to spend taxpayer money, a rush to grow the government, should not be dismissed. This is the New York Times telling Democrats, be careful where you tread. This could end badly for you.
So the difference between the New York Times and the AOC wing of the party is the New York Times wants to win the election in 2022. AOC doesn't care about winning the election in 22 because their approach is Leninist. They want to get as much power as they've done with the power that they have while they have it. And they know if they lose power in 2022, even if they lose in 2024, Republicans are never going to roll back what they've accomplished. So what they do is they go through a cycle. They get power. They enact a new entitlement. They push us down the road to socialism. Then they lose power temporarily. Republicans can't repeal that. All we'll do is cut some taxes, do some things that they don't like, which they can reverse quickly. And then they come back into power and they continue to march towards socialism. And so it's a one-way ratchet with government. They understand it. They're willing to lose power to get done what they want to do.
So Democrats, the White House insists this bill will cost $1.75 trillion. Janet Yellen put out a statement yesterday saying it will reduce the deficit over 10 years. But then, as Aisha Hussein was pointing out, Penn Wharton had something a little bit different to say about it, which was highlighted in a Wall Street Journal editorial, which said if all the provisions of the bill, except green energy tax cuts, are made permanent, which is the intention, new spending would increase by $3.98 trillion, while the tax revenue would stay at $1.55 trillion over 10 years. That's a big hole in the budget. Wall Street Journal says it's a $4 trillion Trojan horse.
It is, 100%. And listen, Joe Manchin is not going to vote for $4 trillion. He just isn't. And what they don't seem to understand is that when Joe Manchin said, I'm comfortable with zero, he meant it. Like, you know, and this whole idea that Joe Biden comes out and releases a framework for this bill, and they're voting on a bill that they have not cleared with Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin isn't just another stakeholder or another person in the negotiations. He has a veto over this. And if you think about it, they've passed $1.9 trillion already as social spending, you know, pretending to be COVID relief. They got another $1.2 trillion now that they could do with the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Find out what Joe Manchin wants, pass that, and declare victory. How hard is this? You know, Joe Manchin is not going to help you pass a $4 trillion spending bill.
Apparently, it's harder than it looks.
Apparently.
Marc, great to see you. Have a great weekend.
Thanks. Same to you.